Hey, thanks for having us on. It's the Northwest Showcase on 93.9 KPDQ. It's the spot on your radio for faith and family. Dr. Day is here. Day Chiropractic, that is his clinic. He's been on the showcase for many, many years. And we're celebrating the 123rd birthday of chiropractic. And so because of that, Dr. Day has a special for $25. And you can call and make an appointment for that right now, 503-760-7572. That's 503-760-7572. And what does that include, Dr. Day?
So, full assessment, posture, range of motion, looking at your weight balance, bilateral weight scale. We do thermal imaging, surface EMG, actually heart rate variability, which is a measurement of stress. That we'll be able to quantify, and we'll be able to measure and see if we're making an improvement with that, as opposed to just giving you one more guilt trip about, oh, you should get rid of the stress in your life. Well, how is that going to help you?
Yeah.
Right. So I can actually measure to see if your life is actually being a detriment to your physiology, and if so, how bad is it, and what, is this really urgent, or is this something that you're not that far off?
Right.
That sort of thing. I can tell you that with the technology that we have.
Okay.
And any x-rays are included and everything. Yeah. So
that's great. So the phone number, once again, 503-760-7572. Day Chiropractic is the website, and like I said earlier, it's jam-packed with information. I mean, there's like all kinds of articles, and you can listen to the show, and I mean, he's done an amazing job. I think that's what websites should be. If you're going to have a website, have it as a resource for your listeners and for your customers. And
like I had somebody yesterday, he climbs rocks and plays frisbee golf sort of stuff. Right? So he's always using his arms and stuff, and he's been doing some push-ups. So I said, hey, why don't you go to my website and look at corner push-ups? Take it one more level, and so it's kind of fun. So I said, go there and watch it. I filmed somebody doing these things, and it will just be that much better for him. It'll be really exciting. Okay, so I brought a few more articles here. One is, and I'll just do the abstracts here. One is the resolution of chronic constipation and dysautonomia in a 3-year-old female following chiropractic care. So this was published in the Journal of Pediatric Maternal and Family Health, August of 2019. So the patient presented for chiropractic care at the age of 3 after a full year of constipation and the use of multiple chemical stimulants in order to have a bowel movement. So if any of you parents or grandparents have a child who's constipated, listen to this. The patient was unable to have a non-laxative induced bowel movement, and after 4 to 5 days without bowel movements, her parents would begin giving her laxatives until it triggered a bowel movement, which was reported to be large, very firm, and an overall traumatic experience for the child. Okay? Exam included spinal thermography, posture analysis, supine leg length, comparison, range of motion, static and motion palpation for spine. The patient was diagnosed with verbal subluxation of the cervical region and related dysautonomy. So this little girl, 3 years of age, the problems that were causing her bowels were in her neck, according to what the chiropractor discovered. So anyhow, this case demonstrates the resolution of chronic constipation following chiropractic care. So if you're interested, they talk about the vagus nerve and how working on a kid's neck could change that. But it's a good example of, I never know where I'm going to have to go to fix a problem in you. And one of the reasons we've invested in the technology is sometimes the kind of the obvious, like you would think, if it's my bowels, it's my lower back. In that particular case, that's not where the problem was. It was in this little child's neck. So we kind of have to think about that. And so the other thing is, I think people assume, with the chiropractic is good for back injuries and things like that, and that's true.
Car accidents.
Right, but you don't necessarily think about some of these other things. So here was a case, resolution of sleep disorders in an infant undergoing chiropractic care. So this is a case report and then a review of the literature. So if you're having a child who is struggling to sleep and you're looking for some information, this is published in the Journal of Pediatric Maternal and Family Health, July 22 of 2019. And then this is the clinical presentation, was a 7-month-old female presented by her mother as having difficulty sleeping. So this little kid, by 7 months old, isn't sleeping good. According to the infant's mother, the patient was only sleeping a maximum of 2 to 3 hours at a time throughout the day, right? Because the kid's not sleeping at night. So the patient was cared for with diversified technique. That's a touch and hold contact at the frequency of once a week for 3 to 4 weeks, once every 2 weeks for 3 visits, and once a month for basically maintenance care. After the first visit, the patient was immediately sleeping 9 to 10 hours through the night without issues.
Wow.
So if you're afraid, moms and dads, don't be afraid of chiropractic. In fact, I I just had a phone call. A patient is coming back to see me, who I saw because her grandma paid for her mom and dad to bring her in to see me because she had what was called torticollis, and that was her neck. Her neck was turned off to the side, and she was several months away from her first birthday, and she was going to have Shriners was going to do a surgery on her neck at a year when she turned 1 year to try to get that so the neck wasn't contracted like that. Grandma was a patient of mine, and she said, "Well, what do you have to lose? Try seeing Dr. Day." Now, when they brought that little girl in to see me, Mom and Dad had dark circles under their eyes. They brought 2 big bags. One had food and one had toys. This little kid was a terror, didn't sleep, just fussy all the time, was not happy. And so part of what I had to do was talk to Mom and Dad and let them, because they knew the surgeon, they finally were looking forward to having this thing fixed by the surgeon, And I said, well, can we try to see if this little girl will respond to some adjustments? And I'll never forget, I got a phone call. So they left the office, and I got a call like about 20 minutes later, something like that. And it was them. I said, what's going on? She fell asleep in the car. Now, kids normally, that's a way that you drive kids around in the car, and they usually fall asleep.
But not
this little kid. She would fight she did not want to be in the car seat, did not want anything to do with the car. That was the first time they ever experienced their daughter sleeping in the car. And so I guess that would be the thing, is if you're listening here and maybe you or some of your grandkids or something's not right, consider chiropractic. It's much more than back pain, and the reason it's so much more than back pain is the nerve system controls every function of the body, right? And so if what's happening is the nerves are being choked off, or maybe the signal's being distorted. Almost think of it like if there's a windstorm and you have a satellite, it'll get all kind of pixelated. Or if you have a cable and a tree, the wind is blowing and it's raining, and there are trees kind of striking against the cable, you get a kind of in and out of the cable signal and things like that. If that is happening in your child's nerve system, or perhaps even in your nerve system, it may not be that you're getting older. That might not be the actual explanation of why you're having more troubles than you used to. You may actually have some trees leaning on the wires in your nerve system. And if I can go in there like one of these tree services, or go in there like ODOT to clean up wrecks, whatever image you want to think about, right? If something is occluding that beautiful flow of information, and it's not information just from the brain out to the body, 2/3 of the signals in your nerve system are signals coming in from your body that the brain uses to make decisions about what instructions to send back down to the body. But if those pathways are being choked off even slightly, it will mean that maybe a default signal has to be sent down rather than one that's really crystal clear. Then that would mean you might have some indigestion, or you might have something that's just not quite working right. You might go, man, you have a kid who wets the bed because they can't tell their bladder's full. These sorts of things, or their sphincters don't hold tight. And if we start then thinking about chiropractic instead of thinking about the specialist, I have this bladder leakage problem, I need to see some sort of doctor that does, genitourinary sort of things. Well, stop it. Your body may just need some help restoring the network. And so wouldn't it be a blessing if that's what the problem is? And, the Hippocratic Oath is, first do no harm, that idea that I wish chiropractic were the very first thing that everybody tried for just about anything that's going wrong. We can always then go to the specialist once it's been determined that chiropractic isn't the cause, or it doesn't help the problem, right? But I think there's a lot of problems that could be resolved if people would do chiropractic first. And anyhow, like in our office, we've tried to make it affordable enough that you can actually pay for it yourself. And a lot of people are looking, like if you have Kaiser, for instance. I have a lot of Kaiser patients in my office. Well, Kaiser doesn't pay any of the bills when you come to see me, right? In my office, my Kaiser patients are cash. Well, but most of my patients pay cash. So that's my job, is to make sure that it's effective and working, and that makes it so you're willing to actually pay
and
for
affordable.
it. And affordable, absolutely, and it is. If chiropractic works, it really works. And then, imagine if we solve a problem that you've struggled with for years. Like I have a guy who's a UPS driver. he was having shoulder problems that were so severe it might have maybe limited his career ultimately. He didn't even come into me for that. He had been to all the specialists and the orthopedists and stuff like that for that. Well, come to find out, when I fixed his neck, his shoulder miraculously stopped giving him any troubles. Isn't that fun?
Yeah.
So anyhow, so because he didn't have any expectation that what I would do to his neck would help his shoulder, right? He thought that was a totally separate issue. So, but it's so much fun. Yeah, I love being a chiropractor. It's just exciting.
Yeah, we love having you on, and I love hearing you talk about it because it's something you believe in. You take it seriously.
Yeah.
And you and I have talked about different things that you have brought into your office, like your X-ray machine and different things, and that just enhances what you can do.
Yeah, because I think about if I were so here I've been in practice 33 years, and it's really exciting to me. I've got all this technology. I mean, this stuff didn't even exist when I started practicing, right? I mean, I kind of chuckled to myself. I look at that X-ray machine, and when my dad was in practice, I mean, he took X-rays, and he had a dark room, and you had to dip these films in different solutions. So he had this big tank with several compartments. Wow. So there's I don't know what the order was, like a fixer and a hardener and a developer, I think was the first one or something, and then you had to time it, right? And you're all in this red light, and then time, ding, okay, then you move to the next chamber and so forth. And so that's what my dad had, and so cocky as all get out. When I graduate from chiropractic college, I'm going to do things, modern. Yeah,
I'm going to be a
modern. And I bought an X-ray processing machine, that you stick the X-ray in and it comes out. It's like magic, So proud of that, and it's so funny, we had calcium. I forget what the thing, but a better thing to hold it. Well, then the rare earth screens came out, so I bought those, and that cut the radiation dosage in half. Yeah. Still running through the processor. Well, then this processor that I've had for many years, when it was starting to, and when they want to sell me a new processor, then you start thinking maybe I can take that $6,000 and put that towards a new machine where I don't need a processor at all, and so I did that, and it's like, oh my goodness, it's so exciting to have, and it's fun for me to do them. Also, I like taking X-rays because and I think people, it's kind of weird, people don't expect it, but I think they appreciate the fact that I'm doing it, and when I can look at each picture that I take, and if I'm not satisfied with it, I'll take another one, so I'm satisfied with how it looks. You know what I mean? There's something about that. They understand this is not something. I'm not just doing it routine. Like on the routine. I do it on almost every patient, right? I do it because I want to find out what's in that particular patient, right? It's
absolutely.
And I think they get that it's
like a detective.
It is like a detective, and they're coming to me because they've often been to lots of other doctors. I'm usually not the first chiropractor. I'm usually not the first specialist, but they come to me, and I have people who drive. I got a text yesterday morning at a little after 5 in the morning because I have a patient. She drives from Seaside, so she had to make sure that we were there because for her, she has to leave at like 5 in the morning to get to my office. I start at 7:30 for me to get an adjustment. Then she can get back because her work starts in the afternoon. So for her to come to see me is a round trip. That's 4.5 hours.
That's a big deal
in the car, right?
Without traffic.
Without traffic. That's right. It's humbling, right? When you realize she passes a lot of chiropractors on her way to our office. But why does she do it? And she does it intentionally. We've tried to send her. She's been to other chiropractors in her area, but she still chooses to come here partly because of the journey that she has been on. And it's a lot of fun to take care of people. And I was up already because I had to take my mom to the airport, so it wasn't a problem. But she was very apologetic. But she wanted to make sure that we were there, and I could text her and say we are there. So it was. There was nobody in the office at 5 in the morning, So how did this patient? You think about this gal. She's already up, and she's having to get that car going, pointing toward Portland, to get in for her adjustment. You think about, and we can't just go down the street. It's like. So if there's something going on in you, there are people who are having to make substantial investments in time and finances to get to our office. And if you're close enough, I mean, even if you live on the west side, most of our patients tend to come from the east side and some Vancouver sort of thing. But I have a lot of patients who drive from the west side. So if that's where you live and you want someone to look at your situation, we'd be happy to help you.
And you can make an appointment by calling 503-760-7572, 503-760-7572 for Dr. Day. Ask about the $25 special this afternoon. Thank you, Dr. Day.
You're welcome.
Yeah, great having you on the Northwest Showcase. Head to daychiropractic.com. And the Northwest Showcase has been sponsored by Day Chiropractic on 93.9 KPDQ, where you can hear Georgine Rice at 4 o'clock this afternoon.